And we return to where we left off.
Welcome all.
Welcome to part 2 of Sherlock Holmes and the Silver Earring.
Yes. Part 1 was pretty good. The quizzes are could be a little bit nicer. But it's pretty. It's got reasonable dialogue. And the actual, like, what the quizzes are asking you does feel detective-y.
That it does. And we have done well on our second and third quiz. We failed our first pop quiz. The Limes. Completely not related to the Times. Mysterious drama in London. Last night at about 9 o'clock at 29 Strokes Alley, Miss Linfold, a peaceful landlady from the Soho district, heard dreadful sounds coming from one of her bungalows. Overcoming her fear, she asked one of her tenants to call for the police. The first officer of the night's watch, Sergeant Appleby, found the body of the tenant, a barman from Hartford agency named Simon Hunter, dead from a revolver shot. The evidence reveals no motives for his murder, as the young man had neither any valuables nor an impetuous private life. Simon Hunter. Well, wander away.
We get an article about it. I wonder how it's tied in.
Do we have the last... No, we don't, do we? We do not have the last dialogue between Watson and Holmes. As far as what were we supposed to do? Where did we actually leave off? Were we supposed to... I'm assuming we were supposed to go somewhere. I'm assuming that's where we were. So Hunter's house. It's a new location.
Looks like we are in the midst of the Bromsby Workers' demonstration.
Here we are, Watson, 29 Strokes Alley.
By Jove, if it isn't Sherlock Holmes.
It's certainly loud.
Hello, Appleby. You're always nearby when there's a whiff of gunpowder in the air, aren't you?
The rabble.
Of course, Mr. Holmes. But what are you doing here? Aren't you working with Inspector Lestrade on the Bromsby investigation?
You need me to turn it down a little bit?
No, just... They...
The rioters are loud.
Yeah.
Well, they are rioting.
Appleby, I have every reason to believe that the murder of Hunter directly relates to that very case. May I ask you to tell me what you know, and then give me leave to examine the scene?
Of course, Mr. Holmes.
Do you say something?
Does he have reason to believe the cases are linked? I don't know why they're linked. Why are they linked?
Reasons that only Sherlock knows yet.
What are the facts?
Last night, between 9 and 9:15, a fellow came for me. I was at the pub, which lies a bit further down the lane. He told me that there was the sound of a shot from this bungalow. When we got here, the door was locked. After the landlady got her key, I opened the door. There I saw the dead man lying on the floor. And here we are.
What did you do next?
Well, Inspector Gregson is in charge of the case. He's due to arrive today to start the official investigation. At least they've removed the body.
Okay, and who is Simon Hunter, really?
Do you have any further details about his death?
He was killed by a bullet right through his heart. There was just one shot. At first glance, it appears to have been a small caliber weapon. His landlady told me that he was a common fellow with nothing to remark about, no friends to speak of, not even a lady friend.
A lonely soul.
He has been staying here for 2 years. The landlady told me he spent most of his time with this flower garden. Indeed, I can't believe that somebody could murder a man because of his hydrangeas.
No, you don't know how competitive the gardening world works.
Who has been inside?
Only myself and my assistant to
that
help with the removal
one-shot
of the
bullet
body.
through the heart
The
sounds
landlady made her
very much like our
identification
main
of the man after he
murder.
was removed and then left for her sisters.
Have you found anything in the room that points to the murderer?
For the moment, no. When I entered the first time, the window facing the street was open. I closed it and secured the shutters as well. It is possible to expect anything with those demonstrators in the streets. Does this advance the investigation of the Bromsby case?
If you could wait for me here, Watson. Could you open the room for me now, Appleby?
Okay. Sherlock is once again too tall for the space.
Yeah, he's not quite phasing through the ceiling.
No, but he's like definitely touching the ceiling.
It's a trace of human blood.
Let's see. Paints.
Strange sketches.
Are they? They look... Oh, are you talking about the sketches that you can't even see, Sherlock?
This is brand new. This is brand new.
Why is it giving me that you can pick this up?
This is brand new. This is brand new.
You're not letting me pick it up.
Maybe we don't know we need it
This
yet.
is brand new.
Oh. Maybe so. Okay, walk over here.
Or maybe we have to use something we haven't found with it yet, like the
I need
knife on the
something.
rings that were holding down the tarp yesterday.
Hmm.
I need something.
Yeah, but what do you need? Can you give me a look of it properly? Is it the test tube?
I need something.
No. Do you need your measuring tape?
It's a shoe print. Yeah, it's a bloody shoe print.
Oh.
This footstep is incomplete. It is larger than a size 8, but smaller than a 12. Someone used this window to leave.
Maybe that shoe size 10 that we keep hunting? Well, at least no one has stolen this guy's pillow. Which is also a thing from our last murder. Wait, what was that we picked up? Richmond's Abbey liqueur. Wasn't even where we picked that up at one point. Can I go over here? No. No footprints. Well, I'm
The
assuming...
wash basin and the mirror? Is
No.
maybe the mirror a medicine cabinet?
No, there's nothing there from that view, and it's nothing from this view. Was there anything I missed in this cabinet? Besides the fact that those things are something I can interact with, but not. Can we put them on fire?
This is brand new.
No. Hum. Hum, 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 hum. Can we leave? We can.
I haven't discovered
Thank
everything
you,
yet.
Appleby.
Really?
I have learnt nothing conclusive. Tell me, Watson, would you mind strolling in the garden to wait for Gregson?
You have to talk to Watson?
Talk to the police officer, but we cannot talk to Watson. But maybe we could have a look around the
Investigate
garden.
things here, yeah.
Or maybe we just talk to the police officer?
At your service, sir.
No.
Thank you, Appleby.
At your service, sir.
Where do you want me to go, game? This is a spot. Do I get a new camera angle? I do. Oh, there's something there.
Nothing of any interest here.
Then
Some
why
of
are we
these
just...
flowers are not from England. Nothing of any interest here.
Okay. Well, I guess there's nothing of any interest here. Is there anything of the interest in the other
What in
gardening
the
cabinet?
name of reason are you looking for, Holmes?
What a curious small flower. Several bills for the sum of £21. Watson, we need to secure the item that was pawned under this ticket with all due haste. Could you take care of it? We shall meet this evening at Sherringford Hall.
All right, Holmes.
Let us return to Baker Street.
Okay, I do think I understand what his reasoning was there, but it's quite a stretch.
I don't. Enlighten me.
So, the painting that was recently new, even though it wasn't the one that we pointed out was recently new, but he pointed out it was a bit of a weird painting, that was the flower on the niche, which pot was hidden the pawn ticket. So, you see the painting, and then you go and find the flower that matches it.
Okay.
But how on earth he would know that it hides a pawn ticket, or why the person would leave such a clue
your
behind
service,
is
yeah.
Thank you,
weird.
Appleby.
At your service, sir.
It's a bit of a stretch.
We must learn the identity of the dead man discovered in the cement factory. Let's examine his belongings.
Okay. Let me just read this first. Palomino Graziani, owner of the pawn shop. 1 golden exotic jewel. 2 days. But there was no actual date mark on it, which is a bit strange.
Nor an amount. It's weird for a pawn shop not to say how much the
Yeah.
pawn amount is.
And if you have 2 days, then surely you should have a stamp with the date from, like, starts at. I feel one person gets to have a more fun experience than the other if you're doing it as Watson and Sherlock. You want to examine his belongings, but
A bottle of liqueur from the Richmond
I
Abbey.
was assuming it was
must
at
have
the,
a book
like,
that
science
speaks
table.
about this abbey.
oh, okay. You want to examine your bookshelf. Very well. Can I put this down? Thank you. To the books.
Richmond's
Encyclopedia.
Abbey. I believe it was built in the 15th century to house an order of Anglican monks. It should surely be there. Let's visit this place, but in disguise. Let's see if this place is located on the map.
Oh, his disguises. The disguises
Let's
get so
visit this place,
involved.
but in disguise.
In the future games?
Mm-hmm. No, not that. Go into your bedroom and put together your disguise.
Well, we have the large black sheet from the first section.
Okay. Now in the future ones you have to put together the right disguise for the right times.
As in, like, in the morning I have to wear morning clothes, or...?
like, I'm going to look in this area, I should look like I belong, and then you take from his wardrobe and you place it on the mannequin, and you have to choose the right hat, the
okay.
right coat, etc.
I'm going to the monastery here, I dress up like a monk, or I'm going to the high society dinner, I have to wear fancy
Yes,
crap.
my son?
I am sorry to disturb you, brother, but, well, you see, I have a matter of great importance which led me here, and I'm certain that you may be of help. Well, I am looking for my brother. Not a brother like yourself, but rather my brother by birth. He might have joined the order, but I think it is unlikely. You see, he has not always chosen the right path in life. I recently learned that he had had some troubles, and I have been frantic to find him. One of his acquaintances told me that my brother had spoken of Richmond's Abbey. My brother's name is James Little. Perhaps you know of him? If I ask you some questions, would it trouble you? It would at the least help me to learn whether he is here. He is unaware, but recently we received a small inheritance. I think if he were told of this, it would ease his mind and help him put these troubles behind him.
Sure.
This forest is most impressive.
It is very large. If someone were to hide in there, it would be most difficult to find them.
I see.
The Abbey produces a fine liquor, doesn't it?
Yes, we distill a liquor that contains medicinal herbs. It does allow us a small income, but it also can attract certain rascals. That's why we are mindful of inquisitive strangers.
Have there been any burglaries?
Oh, we do get the occasional tramp. They sometimes seek shelter in the old ruins that lie in the midst of the forest. They have been known to trespass into our sacred cloister, seeking some sustenance. At least, that is always their tale upon discovery. But it is only the liquor that goes missing.
Ruins, you say?
Do you know the way to these ruins?
Many paths lead there. If you are prepared for a walk, you may take the path that lies 30 meters in that direction.
Okay, that's the worst directions ever. In that direction, and not even point.
Thank you very much, brother. I would not at all be surprised if my brother is discovered to be the architect of your recent thefts, as he may well be hiding within the forest ruins. Sadly, for some time now, he has suffered from an addiction to strong drink. Please allow me to indemnify these losses on my brother's behalf. I am afraid it will have to come from his share of the inheritance. Goodbye.
Good luck, my brother.
So, in that direction, huh?
Does the noted down, like our conversation notes, maybe expound upon that?
Not very engaging.
No, I don't think so. You may take the path that lies 30 meters in that direction.
And again, Holmesian England wouldn't use meters, but yep.
Well, at least he's using European measurements and not American.
Going to be a puzzle about the difference between American fluidic ounces and British fluidic ounces.
Mm-hmm. Is it just a dead end, or do you not want to walk? You just didn't want to walk. Can you get across that tree?
I am being watched. Take heed.
You're being watched, huh?
I can go no further.
Well, if you're saying you're being watched, I'm just gonna save just in case.
Worrying about a doggo?
No, worrying about suddenly we get knocked on the back of our head and are dead for unknown reasons for choosing the wrong path when we're trying to find 30 meters in that direction.
What can it be?
What can what be? Oh, left or right, left or right.
I mean, right seems to go back the way we came, so probably left.
But isn't technically left back towards we came, whereas right is to where the dead end was?
Not based on the previous screen?
Okay, we can try left. Where is he
I
gonna
can go
go?
no further.
Well, how about this little path? Can you go down this path? You know, if that monk really wanted to be helpful, he could have just given us a map.
Is it near there?
Okay, and another left or right. Let's keep
Looks
going
like
left then.
there's up, left, and right.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Like that there's three other ways out.
This seems like it's just another dead end.
I can go no further.
Yeah. You can go no further, huh? And if you go right... The other one is just back where we came, but in a different direction. Where does this path go? Come on. Get them steps in, Sherlock. Come on. Also, I have completely lost track of where I'm... where I'm going at this point. Oh, wait, we're back here. Okay. I know where I am again. We were in this spot where you had real troubles choosing the path. Come on, Sherlock. You can do it. Take a step forward.
It looks painful.
Don't know what you mean. He's so responsive. And then I believe this is where we were. And this is where we came from? Yeah, that's where I went. Then up one. Then we went here. And then we went up here. And then we've tried both right and left here, but we have not tried the one that goes backwards to the other part and see if that leads us anywhere else. Where do you go?
Where does that lead?
Hopefully somewhere new.
Nope. Yeah, that looks like a big bottle of something, doesn't it?
It did, but it wasn't chain. What? Now you're just leaving on your own, mister. Where are you going? Haven't we already been here?
Oh, good lord. Why did they put this in here?
What? You don't enjoy walking around in the woods? Okay, go up this tiny path. We have not been up this tiny path, I think.
This isn't very detective-y.
This is Sherlock Holmes Goes on Woodland Adventure.
I smell smoke. Quick, some water to douse this fire, else we lose precious evidence.
What? What? Timed puzzle! No, 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 no. We don't have water. We have
Can you save? Can you save? Can you save?
Run, 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 run. We haven't walked past the source of
water. Can you pick up that bottle now?
Yeah.
That bottle thing.
The red bottle thing or bucket or whatever it was. That was this way. But we have not found water.
And now, quickly, I must find some water.
Oh, there was the pond. Oh, there was the pond all the way in the beginning. Was that this way? We're not gonna make it on the first try because I have no mental recollection of where the pond is. And to get it in the green, yeah, no. Not with that attitude, you won't. And it wasn't down that path. Is it down this path? No, that's where I came from. How about this path?
I can go no further.
You can go no further, huh?
The puzzle is, hope you remember the path you took. Good luck. Yeah. And that he controls less like arse than usual.
And that he actually runs. Oh, come on. How? This seems very far, though. Like, you gotta agree, this is very far to run back for water.
It is. Maybe you can put the bucket on the ground and the rain fills it?
I mean, maybe. Ah, case is closed. Okay, but honestly, I think we're gonna have more luck going back to
You want to
back
go to a previous save and
back and just find the tracks again and save before the timer starts, because we have
Sure.
so little time there. So I would rather start
London?
here.
We're in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere, Nemi. It's not going to be London.
Okay, so from there, from this angle, back one, and there's the pond. So I took a big detour up that way. But if I go the other way, is
So,
that gonna be
pond.
quicker?
From pond. When we go back to the pond, which screen are you exiting on? Which side are you exiting on?
I am going out on the left.
Okay,
Now.
Pond. Left. And then left again.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Up left.
I can go no further.
And that's a broken bridge. Okay, so that's not where we came from. So we have to go
Not
right
left.
for the pond. But
Can't you
feel
go
free to note
left
down
again?
that that's where the bridge is. We might need the bridge afterwards. So, come on, get up there. Run, Sherlock. Okay.
Isn't this left of the pond?
This is above the pond.
You're claiming that's okay. Sure. Pond above now.
And then if we go left, because right is just a dead
What
end.
can it be?
So right above the pond is dead end. Oh, okay, so that's where I need to go. Okay. Yeah, nope. Then I'm good. I can get back to this screen, I seem to remember. And it was this little way I think we took. But is this the fastest way? It's a different matter. No, it's not. This is not the fastest way.
Is it near there?
From here we went down this way. Then we went up. Thought we went up. Yes, okay.
Yeah, because here's the bottle.
So, this is a good place to save. So we come down from the fire, because the fire is up here. And then we go right. We pick up the bucket. We keep running down. And then it was one of these two. I think it was this one. The upper left. And then come on, run, down.
Left. Down left again.
Keep going down left. I think it was this path. Oh shoot. Was it up here or was it down there? Was it down here, really? Yes, it was. Because this is a tree, so if we get to here, we're good. My question though is, if I go up here, is this faster somehow? Is this a shortcut? Because I have been walking a lot in circles. Yes, that is much faster. That is much, much faster.
Oh yeah. Up left instead of down left right, down left left right.
When we get to here, we want to go down right rather than down left. We went down left here. We want to go down right. It saves us from a lot of time. And then coming from down right, just keep going down.
Left.
And then down right again.
We're at the big tree.
And then just keep going around that tree. And then it was left to the pond. There is the pond. And then reverse to get back up and put out that fire in a very short amount of time. But he's not gonna be happy with, because this is one of the places I'm having the most trouble getting him to walk. Okay, well, at least I know where to go now. That is helpful. Even though now I seem to be taking a detour. Did I go the long way instead of the short way? Yeah, I did. I did go the long way again. Okay. Well, I guess we try.
I can go no...
Oh, this wasn't the path. Never mind. Back. It was this way. Of course it was this way. Above there. Yeah, no.
Left at the K, yeah.
Yeah. And then up. And then we should be finding the bucket.
2 ups to the bucket, and then another 2 ups
Yeah,
to the
there's the
place
bucket.
that's on fire.
And there's the fire. Okay.
I smell smoke.
Actually, the timer hasn't started yet, so, there.
Quick, some water to douse this fire, else we lose precious evidence.
Yeah. Come on, back.
Okay.
Run,
Down.
run.
Down. Right.
Run, you fool! Right. Pick up buckets.
Yep.
Pick up bucket
Down,
faster.
to the left.
And now, quickly, I must find some water.
Run. And then was down.
For left.
Right. Further down. And that's half our time already. How are you supposed to do this in green? Was it right?
Yes, that takes you to the tree.
There's no way we can get that in time. Come on, hurry up, mister. Like, there's just no way you can get that in green. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We might be able to not get it in red at least. Did I take a wrong turn? I took a wrong turn. Was it left or right?
The lag does not let me help you here, I'm sorry.
No! I'm on my own. Come on.
Left at the K. Left at the K, yes. And then up.
It's gonna be in red.
If I
The
am
thing is,
find
Nemi,
any
if I
evidence,
start trying to say
must
things
put
based
out
on
the
what I
fire
can see,
immediately.
it's gonna be actively unhelpful.
Yeah. Well, we ended the fire.
My word, I can't see anything.
It didn't fail us, so presumably that's okay.
All these papers were gathered and burned. I need
Save.
to find
Save, save,
evidence
save, save, save.
somewhere else.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's good enough, though.
Well, I didn't... Not in a, like, erase the previous save way, as in a make another save.
Yeah.
I must light the lamp. I can't see a thing.
This amount of frustration and disorientation is only vaguely matched by the feeling I had dealing with old Resident Evil cameras.
Sadly, no, Vama. The bucket only becomes interactable, pick-upable after the
Now I
disaster
see
starts.
better.
Okay, now he sees better.
Someone has slept here.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I need something.
Tape measure, probably, to do this, your foot thing. Come on, measure those footprints. You know you wanna.
I need something.
Okay, is it your test tube to pick up the blood instead?
I need something.
Is it magnifying glass? Oh, come on, it's always been the
This
measuring
is
tape.
It is not English.
For the
And it
shoes,
fell on the
yeah.
floor maybe 2-3 days ago.
How can you tell it isn't English ink?
Don't question the Sherlock. He just knows.
It tastes different.
Wait, this is strange. This is definitely where the footprints go.
There must be a hidden door.
There
I
must.
need something. Someone knelt here often. How curious. Someone knelt here often. How curious.
The ink spell is Royal Majesty.
Very interesting. These letters are faded and illegible.
Okay, but we have
this
one
a
that we can
bone?
read.
Made in England.
Oh, they're letters. Okay.
Okay. Richmond Abbey. Century building cloister of an order of Anglican monks. Large national forest. Okay, why is that in our... Never mind.
Because that's what we read in the encyclopedia.
Letter from an alcoholic. I have always tried to avoid boredom in any possible way. First it was just a few rounds with my fellows, then the alcohol. All the time alcohol. All the time, all the time, all the... Read them hundreds of times. Enough, enough, enough. My story is worth as much as another story. I got nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. I was ruined and misunderstood. This swine enjoyed success in his life because of my mother's money. But half of this money, held by him, must be given back to me according to all that is right. Absolutely, Your Honor, half. And I wasn't going to let myself so easy when you're so far away and when you dream. Owing to him, I would be able to never more to this cursed foul continent. Shades of the Devil? I was told about it at school when I was quite small. Shades of the Devil? Yes, certainly. They are demons. They whisper sweet words into your ear. They listen to you and make promises to you. They said that they will help you when you are down, but no. They help you to rise only so that they can lead you to hell. They lifted me, one under each arm. But when I bade them cease in the midst of their prattle, I then heard the sounds of their demon wings. Demons. Haven't done this on purpose, I swear. I'm sure he knew. But why? Why? Have money. It is certain, Your Honor, they.
Is there another page?
No, that's it.
Hmm.
That cleared up the case, right?
Oh yeah, it's all extremely obvious now.
Uh-huh. Also, all these footprints, and not once has he been interested in getting their footprints.
Measurement, yeah.
This goes against everything we've learned.
We only care about footprints when they're next to windowsills.
Hmm. Is there anything else I need in here? That was the way I went. Okay.
Was there anything else in that pile of burnt stuff by the start door?
I don't think so, but I'm trying to figure out if I can go in here somewhere. But it doesn't look like it. It seems like that... There's only one screen back there. Let's see. There was
Someone
the
has
mattress.
slept here.
So what are the left?
A bottle of liqueur
pile
from
of
the
smoking
Richmond
stuff.
Abbey.
Nothing. And I'm hoping that if we were faster, it wouldn't be like important clues were right here. Can we leave? Is he okay with us leaving? He is okay with us leaving. But at the same time, he hasn't told us to go back.
Someone has slept here.
Yes, but is this the missing pillow? That's what I want you to look at.
Tape measure every single footprint?
I wish we could, but he has no interest in them. He's like, what? Why are you handing me this tape measurement? Wait,
the next
from
screen?
there. there's a hand. Is this the right one? Now, there you want to do it.
Footsteps, Size 10. I
Great.
should leave this forest and join Watson at Sherringford Hall.
There we go.
Okay, so we can't fast travel from here. I actually have to leave the forest. Oh, you're cruel,
The
game.
maze was so fun the first 3 times. You have to do it again.
Ah, yes. Game going, surely you know how to navigate these woods by now, right?
Once to get there, once to go get the water bucket filled up, once to get back there, and now again to leave.
Mm-hmm.
What if when you get to the exit, there's like Watson there and he's like, you need to go back and get something.
Oh, you left your water bucket.
You should put the water bucket back where you found it.
You shouldn't be stealing innocent people's water buckets, Sherlock. I believe it was down to the left.
Not nearly enough hammy video clips of real people, Hummer.
Come on. I know you can walk down here. There we go. Like, why? There is no point for the game to torture you with doing this part. There's literally no point. Also, we can't even go there. Oh yeah, because we
Let us
gotta go
return to
back.
Sherringford Hall.
We have to go back and take our disguise off, of course.
Oh, you meant why can't we go to the murder place, the start area? Sure.
Oh, Dr. Watson, beg pardon for imposing on you, but I must get a message to Inspector Lestrade, and...
He is just inside, and I am sure that he would be most eager to assist you.
No, it would be better if he would hear this from you rather than myself. The present situation requires me to be elsewhere. Please be good enough to tell Inspector Lestrade that I renounce any rights to the succession. Also, I will not be at my offices. I would not wish him to waste time looking for me there. Goodbye, and I thank you for your kind assistance, Dr. Watson.
Well, that's strange.
Also, I don't know that that's something you can just be like, someone told me that someone else told the police officer that he renounces all rights to the succession.
Yeah.
I just saw that blasted scoundrel Grimble through the window.
Yes, you are right. But you have no chance of catching him now. He has run away as if the very devil himself were after him.
It is not the devil that's after him, but myself. He would fare better if it were the devil on his trail.
He gave me a message for you, Lestrade. He said he renounces any rights to the succession.
What do you say? This is astonishing news. This will not prevent me from finding him. I want to know how it so happens that a dead man is found in a building to which only Grimble is known to possess the keys. By the way, where is our great detective? Oh, here he comes now.
Glitching through the door.
Hello, gentlemen. What were you discussing?
Grimble has renounced all possible rights to the succession of Bromsby Enterprises.
But that does nothing to alter the fact that he is the ideal guilty party. Sir Bromsby had very important news that he intended to announce on the day of his death. What if this surprise news was the ouster of Grimble and Bromsby's intent to name his own daughter to succeed him? Do you think something otherwise, Holmes?
No, it is nothing. May I ask you a question, Lestrade? Would it be possible to keep this new information about Grimble from Miss Bromsby, but for a few days?
It's a deuced odd request, but I presume that you must have your reasons. I will do my best to keep this information private till the day after tomorrow.
Thank you, Lestrade. By the way, I would like to speak with Miss Bromsby. Where can I find her?
I do believe she's with her faithful knight in her sitting room. This gentleman never, so to speak, leaves her side. If this story spares them any further pain, no doubt they will soon be renowned as the most beautiful couple in London. I am trying not to think about it, but my heart feels heavy that I may have been an instrument of their sorrow.
By the way, my brother Mycroft has answered one of my letters, and his information seems to be most interesting. You can look at it if you would like. I have had a copy made for you.
Okay.
One thing, maybe turn the background music down a bit. It was getting to be almost difficult to hear their conversation over the music.
That was a problem. Whoop. Come on. Down. Down, I say.
Lovely, thank you.
And then resume. Not start new game. Dear Sherlock, with time of the essence, here is information I have managed to gather. B&G Company was founded by Joseph Grimble and his partner Raymond Waters. The majority of the capital was provided by the Waters, who was the son of a wealthy ship owner. When J. Grimble died in 1886, his share passed according to his will to his partner, Mr. Waters. The business of the Calidasa Abyss is one that we as British people are loath to remember. In the entire history of colonization, we have played falsely with the image we claim for ourselves. The truth of this murky business is still protected by the military authorities, so I possess but a small portion of the facts in this matter. Because of the Calidasa Abyss, the supply convoys of the garrison from the northwest of Bombay had to make long detours. A decision was reached to construct a bridge over the abyss. The construction was entrusted to a contractor who enjoyed strong support within the military echelons, a Mr. Melwyn Bromsby. Bromsby committed to perform this task in a time frame that many specialists considered extremely ambitious, given the difficulties associated with the location and other practicalities. The abyss was situated in the middle of a jungle, located in a distant and isolated place. A battalion was assigned to assure the security of the construction efforts that would take several months. I'm sorry, only several months to build a bridge and such difficult things. That would be more than months, but okay. One of the officers from this battalion was Captain Laurie. From the beginning, nothing went right with the project. They talk of how poor the soil proved to be and the recurring accidents. The remains from ritual sacrifice were found at the bottom of the abyss, which caused fear in the superstitious Hindu workers. There was also the presence of a man-eating tiger nearby and other exotic mysteries. Thus, in the next few weeks, the construction suffered considerable delays. At the start of the second month, the officers in charge of the battalion asked to be retained in their role of supervision, regardless of their personal hardship with this assignment. The command in Bombay supported the request, as it was a great opportunity to economize on the cost of construction, which were considerable. Then the officer asked for men from the nearby villages and the towns to strengthen the teams on site. The soldiers following the convoys complained that large barriers barred their view of the site and prevented assessment of its progress. They were also denied passage beyond these enclosures. They further noted that although they brought workers to the site, they had never escorted any from the place and back to their homes. They were also deeply concerned that they could not identify the source of an unbearable foul stench that surrounded the work site. Some people claimed they had fallen ill, merely from breathing the smoke from the invisible fire that came from the impenetrable mound. The construction was eventually completed completed on or near schedule. But an inconceivable number of Indian families still do not know what happened to their husband, father, son, or brother. They left one day to build this bridge, never to be seen or heard from again. One of the officers, Captain Laurie, tried to reveal the truth that everyone preferred to be left unknown. He was abandoned by his supervisors and his comrades. He wanted to leave Bombay and applied for the post of principal at a penitentiary in Italy. It occurs frequently with non-commissioned officers, as there is no better director than a former officer of the British Army. Everyone knows it and is envious because of it. Sure, but the army refused to grant him leave. They threatened him with charges of desertion if he left the Indian territory. They must have been afraid that one day he would reach England and find attentive ears for a story which must not be told. He died ill and alone, and here is a strange request for a soldier of the British Army. He asked to be cremated in the Indian manner. This last request was in fact refused by the army. All of his property was bequeathed to the military orphanage, Brahmi in Bombay, in hopes that this information should prove helpful. Good luck. Mycroft. And we cannot talk to anyone, so I'm assuming we just go and find Miss Bromsby.
And her suitor.
Uh-huh.
I hear laughter coming from the powder room.
Okay, this is not the powder room.
Closed.
Wasn't that towards the stairs? Yeah.
Closed. Closed.
I thought... That's outside. Did I take a wrong turn?
We are a giant parabola. We've seen men taller than train stations in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Closed.
Like, this is a great example of Sherlock just hovering in the air and suddenly, you know, the top of the door only reaches about his waist. And there are other times when he pretty much touches the ceiling.
Closed.
That was locked.
But then this is the only...
Yeah. Wasn't there the toilet room in...
No, that's another room. This one only had the door that he didn't want to look at. That I can't never seem to get to. Oh, come on. Also, this is not the powder room, but oh well.
Why are they here instead of the room that they're always in? Whatever.
Oh, but I wasn't the only hunter.
My respects, Miss Bromsby. Hello, Lieutenant. If I could have a look... I must say, this is quite a handsome specimen, but it is surprising how light it appears.
That bull weighed near 1,000 stones.
No, beg pardon. I was referring to your portfolio.
That That is
awkward
but another
laughter
souvenir
from
of my
everyone.
travels to Africa.
I came here specifically to inform you that everything goes well with the case, Miss Bromsby. But I need to ask you a question of a more personal nature. If the lieutenant would be so gallant as to give us a moment of privacy.
Your servant, Mr. Holmes. I will retire to the smoking room.
Yeah, you go to the smoking room. Really? I have to click her again?
I should reveal one of my hints.
Okay, we have a photo of a pretty girl.
You don't have a lot to pick from, yeah.
And the game seems to have crashed. I have no control. Yeah,
you
it's
click in.
completely crashed.
Oh no!
Let's see. No, I can't even get in there. Oh, well, there we go.
Oh,
Yep.
it just took a while.
And how would you describe this actress?
Oh, she was fascinating, on the stage and in life as well. She personally inscribed this likeness for me. You see, they were available for purchase during the intermission. She was so very beautiful.
Alas,
Okay,
say
continue.
we're just after
When
we
I met with
finished
her, she showed me
dosing the
this
fire,
beautiful
Lord Dutchington.
earring she wore. It was in the shape of a wave with foam, made entirely of sparkling stones.
And now we lost the voice acting. Perhaps, now listen to me, my dear child. I must ask you to speak to no one about our conversation, something something. Goodbye, got to go now. Okay, let's I understand. Come on, finish up the conversation so that I can save and hopefully... Well, I can hear the steps that they're taking, so hopefully that means the voice acting will also recover.
This lieutenant seems a very commendable person. Miss Lavinia is fortunate to have him near. Lestrade was saying that he has found more evidence of Grimble's trail. The corpse we found at the cement factory may well have been an accomplice and the true murderer of Sir Bromsby. Grimble could have easily obtained an invitation for him to the reception. Then, some time after the deed was done, Grimble eliminated his accomplice to prevent his speaking. Or perhaps not. Whatever are you musing about, Holmes? Holmes?
What is it, Watson?
Blast it, Holmes! You haven't heard a word that I have said.
It is of no consequence. Tell me, have you had the opportunity to redeem the item with the receipt we found at Hunter's?
Oh, yes, it was a simple matter. In order to get the best price, Hunter agreed to redeem the item within 2 days' time. Look, these appear to be real diamonds.
Ooh.
It seems to me that we have gathered all of the key elements, Watson. However, before we retire, let's summarize our findings. The questions should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
Is that the titular silver earring, perhaps?
Mm-hmm. And yes, Rumor, everyone else just pronounces it as Lestrade, not Lestrade, as far as other media of Sherlock Holmes. Question 1. Was the leader of the thugs who attacked Holmes directly connected to the case? And we know that
We
that
had a
person
police report about them, but I
was
don't remember what it said.
Wang Ji. Sentenced 3 occasions. Work at the dock. He was Fairfax Theatre when that was still open. But that's about it.
So he has a connection.
He has a connection. So but is he directly connected though?
I would say that's indirectly connected myself, but
But at the same time, it's like, why were they chasing us?
yeah,
Like, they wouldn't
If
be
it wasn't-
chasing us if,
if they were just innocent, normal people.
yeah. Can we say that the person who killed Simon Hunter is skilled with weapons? Who's Simon Hunter again? Oh yeah, he was the one that we went to the visit. That was the guy who was killed with a single shot.
Shot through the heart.
Yes. Appleby. Killed by a bullet right through his heart. Just one shot. Yeah, that has to be... You have to be somewhat skilled with a weapon for that, surely. I don't believe that was pure luck. Are the ruins near Richmond Abbey a common haunt for wanderers?
Based on what the monk said.
Yes, but is it yes because based off what the monk said, or no because of what the monk said?
I would say yes.
Yeah, it's
He says that they are
occasional.
commonly there.
Okay. Can the handwriting on the message found in the ruin be the same as that on the previous document?
Not is the handwriting the same. Can it be the same? Yes, it can be the same.
Uh-huh. So it's this one with a very elaborate capital A. And let's see, where are the threats? Yeah, same capital A. Same capital A. Yes. Definitely can be. And then we
From
can
the letter that you weren't willing to grant was not from perhaps a toilet rather than
Uh-huh.
his true name.
Uh-huh. Is it easy for a retired English officer to find work as prison warden abroad? Yes, just not in this case. Because I do believe
I don't remember what that would connect to.
No, but he did say that it was normal. No,
Oh, it was in Mycroft's letter. Okay.
He wanted to leave Bombay and applied for the post of a principal at the penitentiary in Italy. It occurs frequently with non-commissioned officers, as there's no better director than a former officer of the British Army. So apparently people from the British Army makes excellent prison wardens. And that's it, apparently.
Okay.
We must
Are
have
we
made
gonna
an
be
error,
4 for
Watson.
4?
Let's check our answers.
Well, 3
No.
for
The
4.
questions should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
So what did I miss? Like, this one I'm sure of. Surely you don't mean me to take the other one and put in there and not use the letter from the alcoholic that we found in the ruins. Is that it?
It is simplicity itself.
Oh, come
Watson.
on.
We have answered all
That-
the questions.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense, game.
Hello, Watson.
Good morning, Lestrade. You are an early riser.
I shake my fist
Good
at you,
morning,
game.
Lestrade. You look really
Yeah, it
tired.
should either say previous
You must have had a lengthy
documents.
meeting with the minister.
But hold on, how on earth could you know that, Holmes?
I can read you like an open book.
So tall.
I jest with you, gentlemen.
It's not the proper time for jesting, Holmes.
Look
But
how
upon my
tiny the
word, how did you
teacups
find out
are
about the
compared to their
minister?
hands.
I was assured that only 3 or 4 persons at most had knowledge of this meeting.
Oh, I would rather withhold my explanation.
So you must be aware of the subject of the meeting.
Indeed, but Dr. Watson knows nothing of these events.
Well, our incorruptible yet ever practical minister shared the thoughts of the Chancellor of the Exchequer with me. They've decided that it would be most imprudent, given the crisis we're under, for a young lady barely 18 years of age to take control over one of the country's 3 biggest building enterprises.
I begin to understand, but
According to the minister, despite his bad habits due to the lack of consideration for his partner, Grimble is the only individual that the council has faith in to reverse the current state of the Bromsby holdings. It was further explained to me that if there is a choice to make in the direction of my investigation, and lacking any new evidence to the contrary, I must take these concerns into account.
this is outrageous.
And you, Lestrade, what are your personal thoughts on the matter?
I really can't say, Holmes. The prospect offered by Grimble seems so attractive. He had credible motive to murder Bromsby and then foul it. In addition, he was the only individual with apparent access to the shed at the cement factory where we discovered the corpse of his presumed accomplice. However, the only gadfly to this theory is his statement to Dr. Watson when he clearly renounced all rights of succession.
That is an item of singular curiosity.
It is difficult for me to believe that a man who could plan and execute 2 or 3 murders with such cool presence of mind would give up an opportunity of this magnitude so easily. I also have spent sufficient time at Sherringford Hall to have a high opinion of Lieutenant Harrington.
I agree with you. This young man, by all accounts, has an unimpeachable character.
See, you
I
know
have no
he's
evidence
bad.
to cast doubt on the truthfulness of his testimony. We reconstructed the crime, and it was evident from where he stood he could easily see Miss Bromsby despite the crowd. Really, Holmes, I'm not a man who would hand over an innocent girl to the executioner, even should it cost me my career.
I am pleased to hear you say this, Lestrade. By the way, Lestrade, have you any knowledge of the place known as Aston's Theatre?
Is it that shabby theatre that lies near the bank of the Thames?
Yes, several weeks ago it was acquired by the Fairfax Theatre Company. Their international tour appears to have been most successful as they are set to open their new play in a week. Dwight Richards happens to be their director.
You mean the author of the threatening letter that we found on Bromsby's desk? I must admit, I thought the letter to be of small consequence. After all, it involved a matter from so long ago.
Sometimes old wounds are the most painful. In fact, we are leaving for Aston's right now. I know that you're quite busy, but if you feel like joining us, meet us at noon.
But yeah, you know that the lieutenant is a bad person because they keep harping on how good he is, how he is beyond reproach, how great of a couple they'll be, how joyful.
I'm more taken up by the we couldn't possibly let the young lady inherit. She's irresponsible. We need to give it to an old man instead.
See, I expect that from the time period. That's fine. But my detective sense is like, no, this guy is being praised way too much constantly about being such a good guy.
Not like she needs advice from a group of people that have experience here. Just, we are going to steal her inheritance and give it to some other random old man.
Aston's Theatre. Here we are.
A woman can't be trusted with these things, you know?
Because it's in the national interest.
Mm-hmm.
We are not open to the public yet, gentlemen. Oh, bless my soul. I can hardly believe my eyes. It is the young Sherlock Holmes, isn't it?
Watson, allow me to present Philotomy Kirby, who in his day was one of the last great hopes of the popular stage. He also took great pains to advance my comprehension of the many subtleties of the theatrical arts.
So he can still prattle away. Don't listen to him. This is the most talented student I've ever met, upon my word, as an actor. But those days are past. So, am I speaking to the former actor or the world-renowned detective today?
Tell me, what you know about the Fairfax Theatre troupe?
2 months ago, they returned from an international tour. Richards, their director, had managed to secure the necessary funds to buy back Aston's. It seems he had finally resolved his troubles.
It's okay, Costo. You don't need to cry. Sorry, a very upset dog here. For unknown reasons.
Not for not being able to go near their friend.
Oh well, that is a constant complaint. I'm trying to find out why we're complaining more now, and hoping that bribing him with a treat will help.
He was in some kind of trouble.
Oh, bah. It's always the same with those tours abroad. Your star actress marries an emir. Another time, the entire troupe has their luggage stolen. Anything is possible, and whatever occurs is usually nothing good. But who would have imagined such a tragedy?
What tragedy was that, good
kind
sir?
of
What tragedy?
Yeah.
Their last tour started about 3 years ago. At that time, the troupe was housed at the Fairfax Theatre. But a series of failures forced the owners to sell it at a substantial loss. The owners were 3 individuals. Dwight Richards, their current director, Miss Davenport, their star actress and the mistress of Richards, and lastly, a young actor, costumier, makeup man called Jeffries. They decided, after the sale, to launch an international tour in order to raise funds.
Their success was assured?
Yes, the fame of English theatre is worldwide. During their travels, Jeffries and Miss Davenport developed a close relationship, which was much to the regret of the hot-headed Richards. He is a gypsy by birth. No one can be more possessive and quick-tempered than a gypsy.
Pray continue.
In short, a dark tragedy occurred in a village in Latin America, located not far from the Amazon. One evening, after their performance, someone noticed that Miss Davenport and Jeffries had gone missing. The local authorities were notified, and the alarm was raised.
Ah, that good classical Victorian racism. Women can't possibly own large factories, and I mean the man is a gypsy by birth, so he must be horribly possessive and do things.
And Richards?
Richards was implicated in some manner, it seems to me. However, there was no proof of his involvement, and no bodies were ever found.
What a strange case.
If you need more details, you should ask the actors. As you may observe, they are rarely able to hold their tongues.
I will see you later, Kirby.
Yes, it was good.
The lady
seeing
is
you
also
again.
floating in the background.
Hello, young
Yeah,
man.
let's
What are
see.
you looking at?
She's now on the ground
I'm sorry.
instead of
You
floating on
startled me.
that
I'm looking
carpet.
at her. Are you from the press? Of course you are. You must be here to interview her. Ah, the play is wonderful, and Miss Caroline will surely shine. If only my father could have seen this day.
And who is your father?
Your father?
Yes, I am Bruce Aston, and my father was Clyde Aston, the former owner of the theatre. It may have fallen into some disrepair, but during its time it was well loved by so many. A host of young actors debuted on that venerated stage. Why, it was at this very spot where Mr. Richards first met Miss Davenport.
Have you ever heard of the Fairfax Theatre?
It is the theatre which was demolished. It seems to me that it had been owned by Mr. Richards together with Miss Davenport and a friend of theirs. They left on an extended tour, but I think it went badly for them. After his return, Mr. Richards bought the theatre back from the bank, and I do hope his good fortune will continue.
Well, we can hope.
With the talented Miss Caroline, I think anything is possible, and the building is still solid and comfortable. Though the bank took over the theatre, they left the keys. From time to time, I would do what I could to tidy up a bit or see to a broken window.
Wait, so other people did have the keys for that building? Oh yeah, Nema Blob, the camera angles on this game is one of its faults. That we keep forgetting to mention it when we talk about the game, but it is definitely a fault. They don't really let you see the people's faces.
Are you a part of the troupe?
Yes. When Mr. Richards noticed
They like
how I
talking to
worked
people's
keep the place
crutches
up,
and torsos.
he hired me.
Yes.
I helped Mr. Kirby a little, and also Mr. Trumpet backstage.
Goodbye, young man.
Goodbye, sir.
Oh yeah, they try, but
Oh, it's very trying.
okay, who are you?
Excuse me, may I ask you some questions?
Naturally, I'm listening to you.
You are rehearsing at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, we are in rehearsal for the play we are to perform at the month end. Are you critics or reporters? As you know, we just came back from an extended tour. We were a triumph everywhere we performed.
Tell us about this international tour.
We performed in France, in Switzerland, and even for an Arab prince. We were met with acclaim at every stop. If tragedy had not occurred, we were to appear next in New York. But fate had other plans for us.
What sort of tragedy?
Oh, surely you must have heard about it. All because of those in our company who assumed the right to reveal every distasteful and intimate detail of a most tragic event. Anything to gain publicity for themselves. It is positively scandalous. But even a professional actor such as myself respects the privileges of the press and the public's right to know.
Your sensitivity honors you.
Please, continue your story.
The events took place in a most sordid place in Brazil named Guacamole or Babiamo or something like that. I still can't stop asking myself what we were doing there in the first place. But to be brief, our talented costumier, Mr. Jeffries, had been having a tete-a-tete with the beautiful Miss Davenport. Unfortunately, she was still very much the mistress of our director, Mr. Richards. I tell you, the tension was unbearable.
Really?
In the view of a professional, they were the worst hours of my life. Miss Davenport was spending the whole day closeted in her room. Mr. Jeffries trembled so uncontrollably that he was unable to do our makeup. Mr. Richards stepped in, and I must say, he was a pitiful substitute. May you never be so ill-fortuned as to have your face in his large, hairy hands.
So tell me more about this guacamole.
And then?
Our first performance in that town was naturally well received. That very night, a tragedy took place. Mr. Jeffries and Miss Davenport went missing not long after the performance ended. It was impossible to find them. Then we heard that Mr. Richards was arrested on suspicion of murder regarding Miss Davenport and Mr. Jeffries. We were outraged and most indignant. Some entertained thoughts that we would never leave that God-forsaken place.
How was the matter resolved?
Fortunately for Mr. Richards and all of us, the prison warden and local chief of police was an Englishman. Lacking direct evidence or even a corpse, the accusations against Mr. Richards could not stand. He was set free on the spot. I think that had it not been for the intervention of that young expatriate, we might have been stranded in that Amazonian swamp for all eternity.
Well, thank you for your assistance.
That's all right. Don't hesitate to seek my help.
Well, that was a character.
Yes.
That was definitely a character.
They do a reasonable job of tying in how he gets freed back
Don't
to
listen
the
to that milk.
prison wardens
He gets
are
positively
typically
weak in the
taken
knees over
from
redheads.
ex-military
A
people.
policeman
That
is
works
just
well.
a policeman. That's it. If Richards isn't in jail, it's only because he had nothing to do there.
We were talking about the tragedy which occurred during your previous tour, and
You aren't the press, are you? No. In my opinion, you seem more like policemen. Well, listen closely, inspectors. Miss Davenport was nothing more than an aging woman who adored seeing all the men at her feet.
What? Don't you mean...
She toyed with both Richards and Jeffries like two little puppets. Dwight Richards is quick-tempered, but he wouldn't harm a hair on her head. And if you are eager to be so helpful, please, find my red-haired wig.
Watson, I believe we have our next case.
The
mystery
case of the missing wig?
Uh-huh.
we must continue our investigation.
Of course, of course.
We'll workshop the title. Okay, lady floating in air.
Hello, miss. I'm sorry for disturbing you.
Oh, you are welcome.
Are you rehearsing the new play?
Yes, we are hard at work. Excuse
Also,
me,
this
did
is the
I
first time
just
we've
hear
heard
Mr.
of Miss
Kirby calling
Davenport
you
playing
Holmes?
the two people
Is
against
it
each
really
other.
possible that
Mm-hmm.
you were the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, and you were Dr. Watson?
I'm investigating the facts of the terrible events that occurred during the company's last tour.
Oh, I see. You were interested in that case. It's still a complete mystery, even for those who were there.
Forgive an admiring expert, but your earring is absolutely magnificent.
Oh, that was a gift from Veronica. She got it along with 2 other matching earrings and a small jewel case. She gave me this one, another to Doris, and kept the most beautiful for herself. Veronica insisted on cleansing it herself weekly with a special cleanser. It was remarkable and kept the earring all sparkling like stars. When I saw her last, Veronica was wearing her earring. She never parted with it.
Tell us about Miss Davenport.
She was fabulous and positively mesmerised men. She confessed to me that she had been indiscreet with our costumier, Jeffries. She had left Richards before, but she always came back to him. She said he understood her completely without her even saying a word.
Until that last time.
Where can we find Doris?
She must be in her dressing room.
Goodbye, miss, and thanks.
You're welcome, Mr. Holmes.
Well, the silver earring is finally making a proper entrance
Also,
into the
she
case.
confirms that the Lady Davenport was mesmerizing, not necessarily playing them off against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, I'd be happy to put down that the old lady is just sort of a jealous.
Mm,
You know,
like
she's got jealousy
past her
issues.
prime, so she can't do it anymore. So any young actress must surely do the same, sort of thing.
Pardon?
Yeah, appears to be having
Working
some
people
inside of
not
chair
allow access
issues.
to their peace and quiet. They walk through here as if it were a common thoroughfare. Nothing strange about that. They still haven't bothered to change the locks. Anyone can enter at will and abuse me. Me, who in the 50s, I was rather good actually. Did you see me? With the best, me. And they just treat me and, oh.
Oh dear.
It's like collapses.
Are you rehearsing?
Everyone has his own technique. Cheers.
Miss Small told you about your earring. Would you mind showing it to us?
It can't be sold. Do you think that actors have no heart? I would prefer dying of thirst than parting with it. My friend, my best friend Veronica, who I love like my own daughter, she gave it to me. My little Veronica. She... Veronica.
Do you know what has happened to your friend?
Left. She left with that Jeffries. Oh, I know what they say. That Richards murdered them both. Why not? He did everything for them. Everything. She was naught but a common flower girl, and that Jeffries was a mere servant. He made them actors. Yes, actors. Yes.
I believe what the
She's
scene
inside
is.
the chair. Her hand is inside the cup. The hand and the cup teleports through our torso. There's no end of the things going through other things.
But I do believe this is the scene that's the highlight of the game, surely. It's the epitome of their skills. And the snoring and voice acting and dialogue.
Oh, we'd better leave you to your work. I mean,
Out! I need to concentrate.
You need to find a better place to sit. That's what you need.
A plus. A plus. Okay, Dutchy.
Okay, let's go snooping.
what chaos! Through the flying dragons of the Virgin Islands?
That
the
what
land
chaos
of
made me think of
gargantuan man-eating
Browo
crabs,
noticing the slightly
rather than
askew
the heart
bed.
of the Black Desert. This author seems to be particularly inept.
I mean, it was slightly askew, Blobber. That is a mess. Absolute horrendous mess.
These items
There's
are
a
poorly
Sudoku
made.
board that we can
Observe
see.
the antique armor as mere painted relief. These items are poorly made. Observe the antique armor as mere painted relief.
But we cannot interact with the Sudoku board. What do they pick up? Customs inventory.
A set of costumes. There are 30 listed.
Can we look at the list? It didn't join our note thing. That's strange. That's very strange.
Is it a book? No. Okay.
But I count only 29. Yes, the artillery officer uniform is missing.
Haha!
Yes, there's meant to be 30 and there's 29.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Where does this story go?
Who is it?
Mr. Richards, my name is Sherlock Holmes. You may put away your knife. Rest assured, I am indeed Sherlock Holmes. Thank you for receiving us, Mr. Richards. Would you mind if I asked you a
Can't
few
you see
questions?
how much taller
I will
than the
answer your
door I am?
questions, Mr. Holmes, only because I have heard about you.
This man, on the other hand, is rather short. Like, he's barely taller than the door.
He would almost fit through the door. He's positively tiny.
Would you tell me about Sir Bromsby?
I will not lie to you, I hated Bromsby. He is the cause of all my troubles, I swear. I have often dreamed of killing Bromsby with my own 2 hands, but I didn't kill him.
Do you know an Asian named Wang Jie?
What would he be doing there? Well, in the days of the Fairfax Theatre, I once employed a Chinese fellow who went by that name. However, I was forced to dismiss him because he was a great deal of trouble, and I've never seen him since that time.
Okay.
You retain several keys from the Fairfax Theatre, don't you?
Well, I don't understand the purpose of your questions, but yes, there were indeed 2 keys for the Fairfax Theatre main door. When the bank took possession, we gave only one of them to Bromsby's assistant. When asked, we lied and said there was only 1 key.
But why?
Well, we kept the other one out of spite. We had thoughts of returning in the night and wreaking havoc, but we had no opportunity, as we left for abroad after the transfer to go on our tour. I suppose the key may have been lost somewhere along our travels.
About the disappearance of Miss Davenport.
I don't know why you want to talk about it. Does some vile curiosity cause you to torment me in this way?
Thank you, Mr. Richards.
It is nothing, Mr. Holmes.
I should reveal one of my hints.
Well, thank you for telling us. Is it this?
I should reveal one of my
No.
hints.
Then it must be the silver earring.
Oh, this can't be possible. How did you come by this? Dear God, if only someone like yourself had been present that evening.
Please tell us what's happened.
That night, after the performance, I left to stroll alone along the riverbank. The next morning, I had barely returned when I was seized by 2 local policemen and led to a prison cell for interrogation.
Why?
When I got there, an Englishman, the local chief of police, told me that a deserted boat had been discovered along the opposite bank of the river. Inside the boat, I found a star covered with blood. It belonged to Veronica, who had vanished, along with my other partner, Jeffries.
And then what happened?
No one could prove my innocence, but they also found no proof of my complicity in these events, nor had they found any bodies.
Very well.
Tell us a little more about your partners.
I had met Jeffries while on tour. He was just a young tramp drunkard. Whatever my feelings were then, I feel no pity for him now. He betrayed me. But it wasn't the same with Veronica. I fear the pain caused by these events will forever haunt me.
Very well.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Mr. Richards.
It is nothing, Mr. Holmes.
This man is a wonderful actor.
Maybe, Watson. Maybe.
Can you walk around this corner, Holmes? No? Maybe from this angle? No. Okay, so it seems he doesn't want to go around to the other side here. What about this door, though?
We are in the backstage area.
I guess he didn't feel like there was no point in telling Sherlock that they were planning on wreaking havoc in a company-owned building that would basically be trespassing and breaking some laws. Sherlock isn't the police officer in the end, so what can he do? Also, did we lose Blobber?
I'm here.
Okay. Very well.
Been note-taking about foreign guy, Italian, comma, wonderful actor, comma, question mark, Watson.
May I ask you a few questions?
It all depends on what you're asking.
What are you doing?
My job, my lord. I'm making this jumble look a bit neater.
Could you tell me what happened in Brazil?
Yes, my lord, I was there when it happened. But Mr. Richards takes it very personally if we chat about those times, and I won't risk my position without some consideration, if you get my meaning.
How about 5 guineas
Here's
worth of
5
consideration?
guineas. How's that?
Oh, my lord, you're too kind. I don't really know much of what happened. You see, I was alone at a tavern that night, and I was, as one could say, very fond of the local alcohol. When I returned to our lodgings, I learned that the actress and the costumier had taken to their heels.
And what did you do then?
I made my way to the inn with all haste to learn what they'd taken in their sudden departure. You must understand my position. I was solely responsible for the security of the luggage and troop properties. Can you then imagine my surprise when I saw that nothing was missing? Absolutely nothing. They hadn't even taken their personal items. I can understand that of a man like Jeffries, but it was most unusual for a lady such as Miss Veronica. So the idea came to me that perhaps they hadn't truly left, you see.
And what of Dwight Richards?
I learned that Mr. Richards had been seized by the local authorities. It seemed he was under suspicion for the murder of the missing lovers. This was too incredible. And then there's another odd thing that weighs on my mind. When we finally returned to England,
So look
Mr.
at how
Richards
long
asked me
this
to do him a
man's
small
neck
personal
is.
service. What was strange was that he insisted I keep the matter confidential and not breathe a word of it to anyone.
What kind of service?
Well, there's a small room with an iron door located above the backstage. It was used to store the stage lights and fireworks. He asked me to help him move all of Miss Veronica's personal belongings to the room. Every little thing, without exception. Her large trunk, her dresses, all of it.
Well, that's interesting.
Where is this room?
The end of the passage, but there is one difficulty. You see, Mr. Richards has the only key to the room's iron door, because only he has a complete set of keys to this building.
Very well.
Goodbye, my friend.
My respects, my lord.
I wasn't aware that 5 guineas could buy you respect, but oh well.
I was more amused by like, yes, I know everything about it, but I would need remuneration to tell you, and then you give him it and it's like, I don't really know much, I was busy being drunk.
I mean, he gave you a ton of other information. He is basically prattling about his boss and like, yeah, no, I promised not to say anything, but here. Like, my conversion rate is a bit slow when it comes to the time and money, but like 5 guineas. How much are we talking?
Big money for normal people. Guineas are like 1.5 pounds, weren't they?
Leave me alone, I have to work.
But I need your keys. How am I supposed to get the keys?
No, 1.1. But anyway.
Yeah, but how much would it be in value?
Ooh.
Hmm. Let's see. No. That was too much math to do at this current time. Let's see. What can we do then? You said you were given keys occasionally. Can we trick you?
She is fabulous, isn't she?
Do you have a complete set of keys to the theatre?
Oh, yes. Take them. But you will see to their safe return.
You gave those up so
Goodbye,
easily.
young man.
Goodbye, sir.
One would say he almost gave it up too easily. Give me those keys. Come on,
Watson,
Sherlock.
stay there and inform me if Richards arrives.
Use key
All right,
on
Holmes.
door.
Let us see whether we can find other evidence.
What did we just pick up?
Looked like a clay jar.
Well, it didn't go in our inventory, so I have no idea why we picked it up.
A gift from the gods. I need something.
Do you need your magnifying glass?
Nice pattern made of encrusted nacre. What does it mean? This lock has never been forced. I see. To open the safe, I must have the 2 other earrings. I have no interest in this.
So each of the actress ladies had one.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
The one that's phasing through the chair.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm gonna need your earring, miss.
I don't know where your wig
At
is.
least she
I
isn't
cannot take her
boo-hoo-hooing
earring.
us.
He cannot take her earring. Can I show you a picture of this girl?
I don't know where your wig is.
These actors?
Well, how are we supposed to get that from her? Do we still... No, we don't have a bottle of fancy liquor anymore. I was kind of hoping we could just give her that.
Go try the other lady.
I should show her one of my hints. I should show her one of my hints. I should show her one of my hints.
What? We don't have any... Do I show her a knife?
I should show her one of my hints.
A
I should show her
matchbook?
one of my hints. I should show her one of my hints.
Did you get the earring back out of the box?
No. Do you think I need to? Do you think I can?
I think you might be able to.
Okay. I just assumed that once it was locked in there, it was locked in there. That could very well be on me.
If we want to talk to them about earring, we need an earring to talk to them.
Fair enough.
Closed.
Oh,
But I
come
could
on.
be totally wrong. It might be locked there. Have we saved recently?
Watson, stay there and inform
Oh
me if
no,
Richards
we haven't
arrives.
saved since we
All
doused
right,
out the
Holmes.
fire. We picked it up. But we
We
can
need
save.
earring to talk about earring. Good.
There. Now you can breathe again, fish lips.
So now we can try old Biddy who is drunk again. No, okay. It's the same.
I don't know where your wig is.
I cannot take her earring.
I mean, we could return and do the forest again.
I should show her one of my hints.
Do you remember the path?
Yes, I do.
Oh my stars.
Would you mind lending me
Pond,
your
above,
earring?
left,
I shall give it
forwards,
back to
top,
you in a
right,
few
down,
moments.
top, left at
Certainly.
the K-shape, up,
Maybe
up.
you would like to borrow Doris's earring as well. I don't believe she would give it to you, but to me, certainly. If you wait here, I will get it for you.
There we go. We have all the earrings.
To the puzzle works.
Onwards, Watson. You're slowing me down. Then I'm gonna need to unlock the door again.
Watson, stay there and inform me if Richards arrives.
All right, Holmes.
Where do the other earrings go?
It is elementary.
It is elementary where they go.
Richards and Miss Davenport standing in front of the old Fairfax Theatre. But who is this third man? Descriptions of exotic landscapes. Nothing of interest.
Well, well, gentlemen, you arrive at precisely the right moment.
Is your good mood a sign that you have found something of interest?
Absolutely, Holmes. It seems to me I caught the right end this time.
What? Really?
We learned about it only by chance. It appears that at 1 o'clock this morning, Grimble arranged for his solicitors to send his demands to the court for the appropriation of Bromsby Enterprises. My men will spare nothing in their search for the elusive Grimble.
Lestrade, pray, continue.
Then I followed your advice and we advanced further into our investigation of Mr. Richards. Did you know that his true name is Gaetano Riccardino? As this, Mr. Riccardino, at age 19, he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for armed robbery of a fair stall. And who would you think the complainant was in this case? In truth, a certain Melvin Bromsby. This new evidence of his criminal past makes him another principal suspect in these murders.
Very interesting. Any other findings?
It would seem that Grimble and Richards are old associates. They were both intimately involved in the sale and transfer of the Fairfax Theatre. These two make quite a pair, don't you agree?
Well, Lestrade, I'll keep my thoughts on these matters secret for the moment.
Bah, you're not playing according to Hoyle. Really, Holmes, you must at least tell me your opinions on Richards.
Mr. Richards is an intelligent person. He is a man of great personal resources. If I had the power of Scotland Yard at my disposal, I would take all steps necessary to ensure that Mr. Richards is secure within a prison cell. And the sooner the better for all concerned. When the case involves murder, It is not wise to underestimate any possibilities.
You are a good man, Holmes. I swear upon my name that within the space of an hour our friend Mr. Richards will be warming a cold cell at Dartmoor.
Very well, my friend. By the way, I would like to see you tomorrow at Sherringford Hall to discuss in greater detail some of the more puzzling elements of this case. Can I expect you?
I would not miss it for the world. This is most fortuitous, as Miss Bromsby also invited me to the hall. I was told they had good news to share, and it seems to me an engagement announcement must be at hand.
So, we shall see you tomorrow. Let us return to Baker Street.
Well, is Lestrade right? This case does seem resolved.
So it
There
feels
is
like
but
that.
one piece missing that I need to complete this puzzle. Oh, it's not very important from the criminal point of view, but from the economic aspects of this case, it is essential. Regarding the question of whether Lestrade is correct, I will give you 2 items that should provide the answer that you seek. The first is a table representing the shoe sizes of the main characters in this case. Examine it carefully, Watson.
A parcel for you, Mr. Holmes?
God, no, not little Timmy again.
It was brief.
Ah, this would be Mycroft. Here is the final piece, which completes our puzzle, Watson.
Would this be the second element?
What second element?
You have just said that in order to determine if Lestrade is correct, I would need to consider 2 items. You told me about the shoe sizes, and I ask if this news article is the second clue.
Oh, no account. The second clue is a question. A very simple question. The answer will take the grass under the feet of several English citizens. For if they cannot even guess the answer to this question, they are for the gallows. The question is as follows. Watson, do you think that Horace Fowler slept with a cushion? It seems to me that we have gathered all of the key elements, Watson. However, before we retire, let's summarize our findings. The questions should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
It all comes down to the cushion.
So it's worth it's worth mentioning that ties that back to, in the very first section, when we had the,
We must have made an error,
here's
Watson.
the
Let's
police
check our
report
answers.
history on the murdered man, that he wasn't involved in anything
The
ever
question should be
except for a
answered yes
single
or no and justified by the evidence or testimony
fairground thing
received during the
So
investigation.
that's a really big gap between piece of information introduced in the very start of the game and just now.
But I do find it amusing that it's this fellow several years ago he was involved in something with a fair stand. That was the only criminal thing he ever did in his life. We have really no real evidence that connects him to this case, but let's throw him in Dartmoor. Like, there was absolutely no evidence for him being involved in anything nefarious, but right to Dartmoor he went. Let's see. I have documents to read. We have a photo of Old Fairfax. Let's go back to notes. I don't want to see that. Someone is there taking that photo, shielding their face. Early in the morning, the lifeless body of Mr. Raymond Waters, a well-known engineer, was found on a lane to the Market District. At an early point in the investigation, it was found that a brawl was the cause of his unfortunate demise. The date of his funeral service has not yet been announced. Okay, so Raymond Waters in Bombay is dead. I can't believe that you would take it all back. Everything cannot be finished between us. Let us meet tonight, I beg you. All the men have shoe size approximately 7 except the following. Sir Bromsby is a 10. Coach Lamb and Lieutenant Harrington
These ones
is
are worth
9.
noting down.
Colonel Patterson and Horace Fowlett are both 6. Miss Bromsby and Miss Lambert are both 4s. Everyone else is approximately 7. let's see. In the cave, like the fire ruins. That was a size 10, right?
In the fire ruins, let me scroll back up. Blah 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 blah. Inside the ruins, footsteps size 10. Yes.
Yeah. So that must be that Johansen is the drunk, because it's not Sir Bromsby. So Johansen is the drunk that's been sending the notes, the threatening notes. Because that's the only person who we have now noted down with the size 10. And I'm pretty sure the game won't go, oh, but this third person who we will
don't
not
have
reveal.
any evidence or knowledge of, yeah.
Yeah. So he's clearly there. But let's go to the quiz and see what they actually need. Are there several sets of keys from the Aston Theatre?
Yes.
No. There was only one.
Hmm?
There was only one full set of keys.
The Italian man said that he... Oh, you mean are at the moment. Well, we don't know what's happened to them.
We have them. Well, we had them. And then
oh,
we
no,
gave
that's
them
the
back.
Fairfax Theatre, not the Ashton Theatre. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Where was it? I see, because he has a complete set of keys to this building. So Mr.
I was thinking of
Richards.
the other theatre. My bad.
Okay. So no, based on Adam Pole. Though I really would have liked, for clarification, that they put, are there several complete sets of keys? Because there's definitely several sets of keys, it's just one complete set. Did one of the actresses lose a red-haired wig? Yes.
Yes.
That was...
This feels like a lowball question.
Which one of them was it? Was it her?
Old
Yes.
lady.
Hmm?
It's the old lady.
Miss Sullivan. Could the discovery in the dressing room be connected to the case?
I.e. the missing lieutenant's thing. Costume.
Writing on of the message found in the earring safe bar correspond to the writing on the visiting card of Louis Fieldel.
I would wonder if we go back all the way to the start when we found that button. Doesn't that tie to the artillery officer button that we found at the very first section?
Let's see, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, an interesting button from the top one.
Whoop. There we go. Could the writing on the message of Veronica Davenport be found elsewhere?
Guess we go look at that message again and cross-reference versus the other letters.
Is this the message to her, though? I'm assuming it is. Since it was in her possession, if it was a message from her, it would be...
In someone else's.
Yeah. Okay, so the very fancy I, very fancy E.
And L.
Yeah, the L is also a bit fancy.
It was Mycroft. That doesn't match.
Wait, was there more there? No. Come on.
Ooh, that's a Harrington letter. The L is
Where?
down 2. Down one more, yep. That L.
Hmm.
But the I is not the same.
No, but that looks more like the threatening noting with a very fancy A.
I was just looking for the L. That's the only one so far that's had fancy L.
But that very much looked like the threatening A from the notes.
Ooh, yep, that L is.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, anywhere else? I guess this is the only thing that we've found that's close. Yep. Yes? Question mark?
Yes, question mark,
We
yep.
must have made an error, Watson.
Okay,
The
not.
question should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
Is this a case where, again, it's more than one place that's discovered? Is that it? Because last time I included, like, the old thing and the new thing, and that apparently wasn't needed.
And you needed 2 of the old things, yeah.
Yeah. So if it's that, then desperate message isn't needed and we needed something else. Gusto, I hear you, and I'm sure there is a cat in the yard or something. That's very interesting. Was this thing, wasn't it, that we talked about? I don't think that...
I mean, the L is the bottom, Lisboa.
Yeah. I guess. Let's try. Doesn't hurt to try.
We must have made an error, Watson. Let's check our answers. The question should be answered yes or no and justified by the evidence or testimony received during the investigation.
Okay, and what are the other questions?
There was this one that we were looking at, the dressing room. But that seems like that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And then did one of the actresses lose a wig? And then the other one was, there's several sets of keys. Was there anyone else who mentioned keys? Oh, you were the guy who talked about keys.
Aston, the young actor man who's starstruck by the lady actor.
Yeah.
He said something about
he has a complete set of keys.
The bank took over the theater and then...
Oh. Oh, I always assumed that it was, he had the keys on behalf of,
the other guy.
Of Richards. But could it be that they both have complete set of keys?
Yeah.
I just assumed that he was the one holding it because the other guy couldn't be bothered. Is that it?
It is simplicity itself, Watson. We have answered all the questions.
Fine then. Congratulations. You completed your investigation. The following questions are optional and you do not have to answer them correctly to reach the last step of the game. Who killed Sir Bromsby? Nobody.
Nobody?
Nobody killed Sir Bromsby. It was all an accident. Well, you know who I believe killed this. Sir Bromsby. Who do you think?
Lieutenant, who
I
everyone
think
keeps saying
it's
is
Lieutenant.
too good?
The lieutenant is being portrayed as too good, and he has slightly reddish hair.
Does he have the right shoe size, though? Size 9, and what was the shoe size that we found outside?
I can't tell because I'm no longer allowed to see my notes.
Size 7 footprints outside with the cigarette butt. And... do I have the other one about next to the gunfire shot? I do not. I only have that the gunfire is at 1.67 or 1.65 meters tall.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like his shoe doesn't match all the shoe sizes for that area.
No, because he never left. He stayed.
No, but the shoe prints that were on the ground next to the gun residue point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm not disagreeing with your it's him.
Mm-hmm. J'accuse. Who killed Horace Fowlett? So that's the guy in the cabin. Who killed him? I really wish it would let us see our other notes so that I could go back and see what kind of footprints we found there and everything.
Fowlett's house. Fowlett's house is size 10 shoe.
Okay.
On the barrel outside. Inside was a size 6 and there were footprints of size 7.
Okay. So that's basically everyone.
Except the ladies. The ladies with the small feet.
Well, we believe that might have been the nephew, which is Wyatt Collins, that we haven't met yet. Didn't we? That was who was tied to him.
Threatening boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know who that is, but... Who killed Johansson, which was the one that we found in the Fairfax theater?
So the people that we know that had keys to that are...
Richards? And...
Grimble.
Grimble? I mean, I can't see that it would be Grimble.
I can't think it would be Grimble, no.
And then, of course, it's the other guy who's absolutely besotten Aston, but I can't see that he goes and murders. So do you think it's Richards?
Just a sec, let me try and see if I have notes about... 2 letters, no obvious cause, shoot through the heart... No. Ballot House.
Who's Lamb? Oh yeah, Lamb was that guy. Any?
No, I have no idea for this one.
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't make sense to be... Like, I don't think it's the business partner man. He doesn't seem like that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
The person that had the other set of keys for there was... The foreign Italian guy? What's the Italian guy's name?
You mean Richards?
Like the actor guy.
He isn't on the list, I think. Yeah, no, it's just Aston Willock. That's a bit strange, honestly. Why isn't his name here?
Yeah, we've got no one and other question mark faces that we've not seen, but not...
No, but, so, Wyatt Collins had been connected to this case as the missing nephew who had issues. Veronica Davenport was supposedly killed in Brazil, like never showed up in the case. But her other lovers, Jeffrey or whatever, why isn't he on a list?
Jeffries were the tramp drunk. Yes, he was her other partner.
And why isn't he here? He has been mentioned in the case. I'm just questioning why he isn't on the list. He's not an option. I don't think he killed Johansson, but I mean, maybe. Nah, we have nothing that indicates that. I think, but I just find it weird that he's not here.
Maybe that's what you get if you finish the water puzzle quicker?
Oh, that's cruel. Oh, that would be cruel, but probably true, isn't it? Then you get to know that he's alive and been hiding in there. Oh. Oh, if you're right on that, then that's...
Because that ties back to him being a tramp drunk, right?
Yeah.
He would belong there if he is a tramp drunk.
Yeah. Oh, that's annoying. Do we just put in the actor then for this, Richards?
I don't mind who you put in.
Okay. What we know is that two
He's
people
the
who
only
have
person
the
that
key.
we know have keys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Who killed Veronica Davenport? I think that might be Jeffers, but we can't.
But they're not a... Yeah.
Who killed Jeffries? And that's where I think there's nobody, but I can't choose that Jeffries is the killer. Boo, game. Boo. Yeah. I don't get to do anything else. That feels weird, though. So I guess I just have to put something. And I guess I'll just put nobody since,
You think she ran away successfully?
No, I think
That
she
it
was
wasn't
killed by
actually a murder?
Jeffers. I think she was killed by the guy who I can't choose.
Yeah.
And that annoys me. That annoys me greatly. But I can't seem to... I was kind of thinking that would be the thing that changed that, but I guess not. And I can't travel anywhere. So what do next? What do you want, Sherlock? Do you want to just head out? No? Want to walk around the table?
Is the map accessible?
No. Nothing is accessible. That's the problem. You want to go to bed? Is that it? If I can get the right camera angle? There, do you want to just go to bed?
It seems to me that we have gathered all of the key elements, Watson. However, before we retire, let's summarize our findings.
We have! Oh, who killed Hunter?
Oh, there's another question that you didn't scroll up
Yes.
to. Okay.
That explains it. Hunter. That was the man who had one shot again, so by that account, I would believe that's the lieutenant. Because that's the skilled marksman again. You did not answer correctly. Do you want to proceed to the final movie anyway?
Well, we don't think that... We think the person who is several of the correct answers isn't in the list.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we say yes to this.
We say yes and we were very grumpy about it.
Well, maybe there's some evidence we missed that, yeah, either the burning down thing or elsewhere that lets you address them. But anyway.
Mm. I'm gonna have to look that up
Dr.
afterwards.
Watson, I feel relieved that everything is settled. The inspector told me that you were not as useful as you had hoped in this case, but you did your best, and I am grateful to you.
Dear Lestrade, well, the inspector deliberately minimized my role in this matter so that I could reveal a secret to you.
I wish Lieutenant Harrington could be here now, but...
He had to leave for London on a very urgent business.
But how could you know?
It is my business to know, Miss Bromsby. Thus, I am able to tell you about the case of the silver earring. Everything begins on that sad afternoon, which was to celebrate your birthday, and ended with the untimely death of your father. Miss Bromsby, you did not murder your father. I kissed your hand that day and did not detect even the slightest smell of gunpowder. I also discovered powder traces that proved the shot was fired from behind the second side door. You were not seen at that door, but where did the murderer go after taking his shot? Everyone who tried to exit through the side entrance found it blocked. According to witnesses and other evidence, none of the guests could have possibly been the murderer because they were all present in the ballroom. No one left through the service door, and traces confirm that no one could have fled by using the staircase. The windows in the kitchen, as elsewhere in the manor, were appointed with thick bars, thus they offered no escape. So did he vanish into thin air? In fact, one of the parties did leave the ballroom and went to the kitchen corridor. He left to meet his accomplice, who was not an invited guest. This accomplice was a professional actor who was disguised to resemble our missing invitee. This guest hid under voile in the shadow of a statue and waited for his moment. Meanwhile, his twin acted out his part in the ballroom and provided the murderer with a perfect alibi. When the killer heard the applause, he left his hiding place, aimed, took his shot, and hit his target. It is important to know that the actor was well placed at the manor. He secured entry to the manor by impersonating a French head waiter. Using his position, he persuaded those in charge to use long tablecloths and to arrange the tables in a most peculiar manner. When the shooting occurred, our actor joined the crowd and rapidly crept across the room, concealed under the tables. As he neared the side door, he rose from beneath the last table and acted as if he had been jostled and fallen. However, as he stood, he accidentally snagged a small piece of his dirty glove upon a chair. When he arrived at the door, which was held closed by the murderer, he tapped on it using a prearranged code and was allowed entry. He exited to the corridor while his partner continued to hold the door shut against all others. The actor discarded his disguise in the deep kitchen well, helped himself to 2 bottles of excellent whiskey, and quietly went outside. The assassin waited several minutes. Then, in the last seconds of the confusion, he returned to the ballroom. Thus, we have the crime committed by an individual whom everyone swears was in the room when the shot was fired.
But this agrees with my conclusions. Richard is an actor, and everyone swears that Grimble was in the room. I didn't consider the course of events as you described, Holmes, but admit it, our deductions agree. Moreover, both of these suspects are similar in size and manner.
Your theory presumes that Grimble is an excellent shot, which is false. It also takes on faith that Sir Bromsby had discovered the misappropriations, supplying Grimble his motive. But irrefutable proof that neither Grimble nor Richards were guilty waited at Horace Fowlett's, the matter of his pillow.
But there was no pillow at Horace Fowlett's.
Nevertheless, Mr. Fowlett slept with one. When I arrived at his home, I believed him already dead. Therefore, the news of his hasty departure came as no surprise. From the evidence obtained at his home and the statements of his neighbour, I learned the following. On the evening of his death, Mr. Fowlett was visited by a man who desired to sell him some exotic trifle. While this man distracted Mr. Fowlett, a second man quietly crept into the house and tried to open his safe. This individual was well acquainted with the house and the location of the safe, but when he failed to open it, he most likely became enraged and killed Mr. Fowlett. This individual, Miss Bromsby, was your cousin, Wyatt Collins, who returned to England under the name Johansson.
But what about this pillow?
Mr. Fowlett's pillow had vanished. Later, Dr. Watson discovered a feather from the pillow in the train compartment used by the man who impersonated Fowlett. But why did Fowlett's impersonator take the pillow, and why didn't the station manager notice it? Mr. Fowlett was short, but very portly. In order to imitate him, the man used the pillow to create the appearance of a stouter man. There is no other explanation. This man was a much leaner man than Mr. Fowlett, Mr. Grimble, or Mr. Richards.
Then, Holmes, who did murder Sir Bromsby? And for what reason?
You'll see, Lestrade, when it's a question of multiple murders, except for the deviant ones, there are 2 primary motives, revenge and greed. Wyatt Collins' presence at Fowlett's tells us his motive was about Bromsby's wealth. He went there for the express purpose of stealing the will so that he would receive at least a portion of Bromsby's estate. If his uncle had died with no will found, Collins would have been entitled to a share of the inheritance under English law.
But if my cousin failed in his attempt and the evidence clears my name, though I am to inherit, why were my father and cousin murdered? Besides, tomorrow I am to announce my engagement and will be married soon.
Holmes, hold on. There is a flaw in your reasoning. There is only one key for the door to the cement factory, and Grimble is the only person known to have it. So he must be directly involved in the murder of Johansson. I mean Collins.
Is that true, Lestrade? Mr. Richards told me that there was indeed a second key which was lost. And have you forgotten the murder of the barman hunter? A young man without any criminal record, whose sole interests were painting and flowers. Why was he murdered in cold blood, with no signs of forceful entry or theft at his lodgings? Simply put, he was killed because he was present when your father was murdered. But why Hunter? What did he see or hear? And above all, how did he acquire the earring of Miss Veronica Davenport, the leading actress of the Fairfax Theatre and Dwight Richards' mistress?
I can stand this no more. My thoughts are dazed. Will you finally reveal who murdered my father?
The murderer? Here he comes now. I understand your feelings of incredulity, but I have never been more serious. You must know that the first person who enters this room is the murderer of your father, Miss Bromsby, and I will provide irrefutable proof of their guilt.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. You made the right choice to leave London. It is unbearably foggy. But Lavinia, darling, what's going on?
She knows.
But how? I mean, what? What does she know? I don't understand. Whatever do you mean?
Oh no, you understand me clearly, Mr. Harrington, and you also, Spencer. Or should I say, Mr. Jeffries?
Explain yourself,
Oh,
Mr.
come
Holmes.
on.
What a monstrous misunderstanding.
Oh, I've just explained myself to Miss Bromsby about the truth of her father's murder, but I can tell the story again from the very beginning. It begins several years ago. Wyatt Collins, the nephew of Mr. Bromsby, is forced by his uncle to leave England for South America. His hatred is fostered by the ingratitude he perceives in Sir Bromsby. Wasn't his uncle's career financed by his mother's money? In Collins' mind, Melvin Bromsby owes him an eternal debt of gratitude, and was thus obliged to finance Collins' indolent lifestyle, fulfilling his every need. Here is our first criminal, Wyatt Collins. Then we have you, Mr. Harrington. You were a brilliant student at the military academy, and are an excellent shot, are you not? You were the only person at the reception with sufficient skills to make the shot that took Sir Bromsby's life. During my investigation, I learned that ex-officers of Her Majesty's Army enjoy great favour around the world for administrative positions. You left India and made your way to Brazil, where you obtained the position as warden of the prison in Guaquiamo. Do not try to deny your presence there. The pictures in your hunting portfolio could have been taken nowhere else in the world except Guaquiamo. We now have our second criminal, Lieutenant Harrington. Mr. Jeffreys, your arrival in Guaquiamo set things in motion. The theatre company had come to Brazil as part of their worldwide tour. You had been involved with the lovely Veronica Davenport, and loved her with a passionate yet possessive love. However, Miss Davenport did not share your affections. She had in fact tried several times to end your affair prior to the company's arrival in Guaquiamo. It seems she was truly devoted to Dwight Richards and would never leave him. After you arrived, you frequented the town's bawdier spots. This is where you first met Mr. Harrington, and you quickly became close companions. It seems tedium and heartbreak do bring certain people together. After the performance, maddened by alcohol and grief, you killed Miss Davenport because she had rejected your love. You then fled to your newfound friend, the warden, to confess your crime and beg for his help. In a show of friendship, he helped dispose of her corpse and directed suspicions towards your rival, Dwight Richards. Afterwards, you lay low, leaving the others to believe that you had been killed or had gone missing. You stayed hidden until they had departed, and you must have kept Miss Davenport's earring as some morbid souvenir. No doubt you also retained not only the key to the Fairfax Theatre, but the keys from Aston's, where you had been employed several years earlier. Here, then, is our third felon, Mr. Jeffreys. Life was difficult in Brazil for our trio. Mr. Jeffreys rarely went out, Mr. Harrington's men were talking behind his back, and Mr. Collins' funds were inadequate. One evening, Collins spoke of his cousin, who, in a few months' time, was to return to England from finishing school. She was also the sole heir to one of the greatest fortunes in England. Imagine these three men besotted with alcohol, considering the wealth that would one day pass to this slip of a girl. A terrible plan was devised. Several days later, they left for England, false papers for two of their party in hand, resolved to seize a portion, if not all, of this great inheritance.
Incredible!
Yes, incredible, and horribly true. At first, their plan was to forge a duplicate will or destroy the original, so that Mr. Collins would receive a share of the estate. This would happen soon enough, as they would murder Sir Bromsby at his daughter's birthday reception. It was essential that Collins enter the country under false papers, so that neither his uncle nor the authorities would be alerted to his presence in England. This would avoid any suspicion attaching him for his uncle's death when he arrived to claim his inheritance. They quickly put their plans into effect. Mr. Jeffreys arrived at the household in the guise of a stylish French head waiter and studied the lay of the manor. Mr. Harrington, the assassin, would accompany a person with rather poor eyesight to the reception, so that the illusion of the fake Mr. Harrington would go unchallenged. As the head waiter, Jeffreys was in a unique position to study the guest list. He quickly learned that two of the guests, Miss Rowntree and Colonel Patterson, had both poor eyesight and were unaccompanied. Lieutenant Harrington was quite busy in the days before the reception. He courted Miss Rowntree with great dedication and made fast friends with the Colonel. He hoped to secure one, if not two, invitations to the reception. Your arrival as the Colonel's guest was your first error, Harrington. Is it credible that a young officer who left the army because of his hatred towards all military authority would easily befriend a man who embodies everything that he detests? But your efforts bore fruit, and you obtained your invitation. Mr. Jeffries, as head waiter, took great care that the tables and tablecloths were arranged specifically to accommodate their schemes. Mr. Jeffries then secured the disguise for his role as the false Lieutenant Harrington. He remembered that an officer's uniform, similar to Lieutenant Harrington's, and a red wig, identical to the colouring of the lieutenant's hair, were in storage at the Fairfax Theatre. He learned that the company had taken up residence at the site of the old Aston Theatre, for which he still had the key. It was therefore a simple matter for him to acquire these items for his masquerade. They now only lacked the will, which Mr. Collins presumed was kept at Flowlet's house. Their plan was to take these papers prior to the murder of Sir Bromsby, so that Flowlet would be unaware of either their presence or a substitution until it was too late. But things went badly. Mr. Jeffries tried to divert Mr. Flowlet, but he must have been alerted by some noise, as Collins struggled vainly to open the safe. Upon being discovered, Collins killed Fowlet on the spot. The two conspirators then left the house in such a way that witnesses believed it was Fowlet himself who had left. They would now have to find another way to get hold of the money, because no doubt Sir Bromsby had disinherited Collins in favour of his daughter. They decided to take the money from his daughter, a young, naive and vulnerable young woman. On the day of reception, Mr. Harrington arrived with Jeffries, disguised as his servant Spencer and the Colonel. With the promise of whiskey, Jeffries easily secured the unwitting aid of two fellow servants and assumed a position at the service door. He wagered that he could pinch 2 or 3 good bottles of liquor from the kitchen if his companions would cover for him. I have just explained what happened next. After the shooting, he took 2 bottles of excellent whiskey. Only someone knowledgeable would have taken these 2 bottles over the others, and Mr. Jeffries had been formerly employed at a luxurious hotel in France. Upon his return, he gave an accounting to his fellow servants, did his hair, and left the manor. The promised delivery of the liquor and his frightened look secured the 2 men's cooperation in providing his alibi. They could not have known his true role in these events. The one problem for the conspirators was the barman Simon Hunter. He had perfect eyesight, unlike the Colonel, and realized that the man who claimed to be near the bar at the time of the murder had in fact lied. He hinted as much to Mr. Harrington and most certainly intended blackmail. As they were short on funds, the accomplices gave him Miss Davenport's earring as collateral and pledged to return with the money he demanded. That night, when Lieutenant Harrington visited us in London, he had just come from Simon Hunter's. Hunter had told Harrington that the earring had been pawned and he would not reveal the name of the shop unless Harrington paid him his money. Mr. Harrington ruthlessly killed Hunter, and the earring so precious to Mr. Jeffries was lost. Earlier that morning, Jeffries lured Collins to the cement factory on the pretext of fabricating false evidence against Grimble. But they no longer needed Collins to acquire the Bromsby fortune. Mr. Harrington would wed the young heiress, then, after a reasonable time, they would cause her untimely death, and they would take it all. So Mr. Jeffries murdered Collins and made sure his body was barely recognizable. If he was identified, it would not affect their plans, as they believed leaving the corpse at the cement factory would direct suspicion towards Grimble. When Mr. Harrington came to see us, he learned we were hot on Collins' trail and had traced his movements up to the factory. He assumed we would go there within the hour and left to quickly round up his associates and devise a plan. Jeffries, from his days at the Fairfax Theatre, knew an Asian of questionable talents who had no visible ties with this case and could attack us without drawing suspicion their way. We avoided this attack, and from that moment I was convinced of Lieutenant Harrington's involvement in the conspiracy. The last elements of proof were revealed at the vagrants' camp near the monastery outside of London. Mr. Jeffries had tramped through England in his past and might have thought to hide Collins in the forest near the Richmond's Abbey. The very day that I was there, he tried to destroy all evidence of Collins' murder. Fortunately, he did not manage to destroy everything. It seems Collins, foreseeing his possible death, left a small surprise for his accomplices. It would be easily missed, except by someone who observes all and misses nothing.
But this is merely some draft to lull us to sleep, Mr. Holmes. Lavinia, surely you can't believe these mad accusations? They arise from nothing. What proof do you offer for what you say? None.
Believe what you will, Mr. Harrington. I will warn you that Mr. Collins left a letter written in his own hand, which named yourself and Mr. Jeffries and accused you both of complicity in the murder of his uncle. At this very moment, Inspector Lestrade's men are conducting a search of your rooms. They will find the evidence that, when added to the accusations within this letter, will prove your guilt beyond all doubt. The Chirapaqui cigarettes, your portfolio, as well as a feather from the pillow which was taken from Horace Fowlett's. These items prove my deductions. I suggest we wait here for their arrival with these proofs, and I assure you our wait will be brief.
I'm sorry, I don't
Bravo,
believe the
Mr.
pillow
Holmes.
one.
Well done. Accept my apologies, my dear Lavinia. I think under the circumstances it would be best if we postponed our engagement. I'm sorry for your father, but what do you expect? We had to give it our best shot.
Where is the earring now? You will tell me, where is it? Unless you tell me at once where the earring is, no one will leave this room alive. Don't you understand? You are all going to die.
They are all yours, Lestrade. I suggest you return with your agents to London as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Grimble, for literally applying my precepts. Watson, let us escort Miss Bromsby to her rooms. She will need her rest.
Holmes, Collins never named either Harrington or Jeffries in his letter.
Indeed, Watson, but they could not have known. I played my bluff, and they believed me.
And Grimble, where did he appear from?
You can now boast that one of the most influential men in England served as your driver. Since my visit to Fowlett's, I knew that Grimble had nothing to do with this crime. I asked him to assist with the investigation, and it was at my request that he took steps to acquire Bromsby Enterprises. He gained us precious time by forcing Harrington and Jeffries to wait and see if Miss Bromsby would inherit. He ran quite a risk in doing me this favour, because their plot then turned against him. I also asked him to send the letter which lured the two murderers away from the hall. I needed a moment to explain everything to Miss Lavinia. It would be dreadful if she fell into the hands of her father's killer. From the beginning, Grimble was concerned only with saving her inheritance. He never once doubted her innocence.
Nevertheless, didn't he misappropriate those funds?
Indeed, but not for his own profit. It was solely to protect his friend Bromsby. An ex-architect with whom he had quarrelled, a Mr. Waters, had contacted Sir Bromsby before this intrigue began. Waters learned from Captain Bowie that Sir Bromsby had encouraged certain actions against workers hired to build a bridge in India. That project was the bridge over the Kalidasa Abyss. Waters blackmailed Bromsby from afar. Grimble received the letters and considered them to be quite serious. He knew his hot-tempered friend well and preferred to conceal the blackmail attempt for fear of disastrous consequences. So Grimble made regular payments to Waters in exchange for his silence. Unfortunately, Collins discovered the arrangement while he was working at the cement factory and threatened to reveal everything. Grimble could not afford for that to occur. He managed to rid himself of Collins by sending him to Fowlett. Then it was Bromsby's turn to discover the blackmail by sheer accident. He was angered, but before he could decide his next move, Mr. Waters died suddenly and removed all threat. When Grimble learned that Waters had died, he confessed all to Bromsby. He noted that the money paid was a pittance when measured against Bromsby Enterprises, and that the same amount could now be applied in other ways. India had enriched them so greatly, and Bromsby had been cursed over the harm done to the Indian people in his employment. It was decided that these same funds would now be sent on a monthly basis to a Bombay orphanage in the care of a Sergeant Brahamai. It is possible that Bromsby intended to increase his patronage, and this was the important news he intended to reveal to the press at his daughter's reception. It was she who had harshly reproached him regarding his behavior towards the Indians in his employ. Do you remember the words from that poem which he had written into his notes? It said that the ungrateful always die miserably.
Indeed, Holmes. But there is one thing that I still don't understand. Why did you ask Lestrade to put Richards behind bars? He wasn't guilty of any crime, but you treated him as a murderer.
I advised Lestrade that it would be prudent to place Richards in custody so we could protect him from harm. Mr. Richards is a wise and intelligent man. He would have recognized Harrington and Jeffries on sight. When he realized that Jeffries was alive and that I possessed the missing earring, he would have drawn the same conclusions as I. So this investigation would have been stopped cold by 1 or 2 more murders.
I see.
Well, Watson, you seem to know everything. Tell me, please, that small missive which I can see on the desk. It contains 2 invitations to the opera's opening night, does it not? If so, we shall finally have our opportunity to hear this marvelous soprano. Well, what do you say, Watson?
Okay then.
So we're meant to believe that someone was pretending to be Lieutenant Harrington in the first section.
No, not in the first section. Just part of it. So, while the real lieutenant goes to shoot Sir Bromsby and hides behind the thing, apparently, or something, then a fake Lieutenant Harrington, which is then Jeffers, or the coachman,
Okay,
all
so
depending.
it's not for the whole first section.
No.
It's like it's very unreasonable to think that Sherlock wouldn't have noticed talking to 2 different people this whole time.
No. It's just during the actual shooting.
Okay. I also have a little bit of trouble with them, like, instantly murdering the lawyer. On the other hand, if they had to do the card puzzle and the Noah's Ark puzzle to open the safe, I sympathize with them greatly.
Yes, I can understand why he would be murdered. He had it coming.
Tell us how you solve the clown. How does the Sudoku chessboard work? I'll never tell you. Slits his throat.
5 hours later, listening to that music, just make it stop. Anything to make it stop. Oh dear.
So I hadn't picked up that he was freed from the prison due to their friendship. I hadn't picked up on that friendship thing. I had personally noted that the over-the-top actor had said that he was freed due to English favoritism from the prison warden who was also English. So presumably we're meant to have talked to one of them at some point and, like, confronted them about being fake? So that we can then get their name in the list?
No, I don't think so. I think the game actually intends for you to know that Jeffers now goes by the name of the coachman sort of thing, the drunk coachman.
Okay.
So I think it expects you to know that is Jeffers, which I really struggle to see how you're supposed to follow that. Like, if you don't know how you're supposed to figure that one out, that's where I fall off. Like, how were you supposed to know that he was the one? I guess it makes sense. Like, when you know, like, after Sherlock tells you, you can kind of backtrack and see where it would be some clue towards it, but can't say it would, can't say I ever considered the idea.
It was lovely animated, that whole last section.
Yeah. But it was. That it was. But yeah, for their first full Sherlock game like this, it's...
That isn't a hidden object garbage.
You don't know if it's a hidden object garbage.
Oh no! You'll not trick me in that way, Maury.
You don't know. Clearly we must play it to confirm this theory of yours.
You've told me.
It's the only way. The only way to know is to play. But yeah. I don't remember which one was next after this in the series, though. I don't remember
Something
how
about a
far they
mummy?
jumped. Ah, yeah. We jumped to the mummy. But yeah,
The Awakened.
I've
No, the
enjoyed
mummy
it.
was the first one. Okay.
I've enjoyed it, except for the faulty, well, not faulty, the problems with making Holmes go where he's supposed to go. Like that has been the biggest bothersome thing.
It has looked painful, and I'm not even the one playing. I'm like watching you trying to click, and he just sort of stutters in point, turning around but not running.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, yeah, no, you gotta go 2 steps backwards because then he will go when you click where you clicked before. Because then he's slightly. A pixel there was blocking his way, so he has to move around it somehow.
Okay, thank you all for watching. I hope you have all had a lovely time.
Thanks for everyone for stopping by.